Hey, this video is going to be a little bit more of a random discussion about what we do next with our own project. So last time we selected the product that we want to do, and I prepared like some list of user stories and explanation of how that should actually work. And today we talk with Ivan and Anton, who are our CTO and senior full stack developer, about how do we actually estimate the economics of that, given that we have to use external means of actually data processing. We would be likely using OpenAI text processing algorithms. You can already go ahead and like this video because this will help the channel a lot. And if you haven't subscribed yet, that would also help to just catch up on what we do next. And yeah, we keep going. I'm gonna just remind at first, like what we discussed. We had many ideas, out of which we had like 4 finalists. And with David, we selected like the one which probably suits the best in terms of like what we know how to do, what we would know how to distribute, and that's somehow related to basically our backgrounds and what we think is kind of the most straightforward to launch and maybe start making money of that, which is the tool that would use some AI algorithms to process product data for e-commerce and generate Google Ads copy for the ads. And so basically something that would prepare the campaigns and that would automate this process as quickly as possible. So I think it's important to basically distinguish those from the regular product ads. So what already exists, which is within Google Shopping and Facebook stores and ads, is that you can market products where you would have like a product picture, product name, and the like maybe some short part of product description with the price, which is exactly just the product information. But rather those should be ads based on products, or maybe even based on categories. So like category level ads, where for furniture, that would be like the kitchen category with kitchen ads based on product descriptions, category descriptions, and like all the text provided by the merchants. If we would go how this should work, basically the most straightforward probably way to distribute that would be a Shopify app, or something like that, where the merchant would be able to just install the app, which would be reading all the product information. And then for the user, we need to add some controls, whether they would use just like all the assortment or maybe some part of the assortment to process, and like maybe exclude some categories from that processing, but also add some additional features. Well, yeah, basically some of the features of the store itself, because there can be like free delivery from orders for specific orders, or promotions, anything that works like store wide, that could be taken into account within generation of the text. And then if there is any settings that they would want to have for the campaign in terms of location, demographics, this is something that we would need to store somehow for the users. So basically, in a way, to have like very simple campaign configuration inside this app. And as the result, as the first step, we would need to generate all the ads, which could be downloaded in the CSV format, and that the users should be able to use in Google Ads editor. So there is an offline tool called Google Ads Editor, which allows to process ads at scale, which is kind of like in some sort of like a table layout of campaign settings, and you can export the data in CSV from the campaign and then import back with some bulk changes. So the way it could work is basically read all the assortment data, allow the users to enter any additional information, process that through some AI algorithm to actually write the ad copy. And the ad copy, we know that, for example, in Google Ads, there would be a certain length of the title, of the description, and there should be as many titles and descriptions as would fit in the campaign. And then be able to just download the prepared CSV file that can be just uploaded into Google Ads editor and launched.
So what are the text that needs to be generated? There's a header, and then there's like the main copy and some other things, or?
Yeah, so for Google Ads, there's headers, and I think they allow now like 14 headers. So for each ad, there can be like many variations of headers. And then there's also a description, which is like a longer text. And it allows to have 4 descriptions for each ad. So basically, for everyone, it should have like many headers and a few descriptions. And then it publishes the ads in very different spaces. And sometimes it can have like 3 headers, one attached to after the other with some like line in between or something. So it just combines all of the ad copy that is out there. So something can be bad, something can work better, and then it would be up to Google to actually optimize and use the best performing and maybe not use some of the worst performing. And potentially the same thing could be done also for Facebook ads, for example. But because there is no like CSV type of connection to Facebook, it would be more like it could be more like a generated assets that can be like maybe copied into the Facebook.
So we actually played around with that, right, Ivan? With I don't remember which AI it was, but we gave it a product description and asked it to do a ad copy. So it's basically that on
GPT-3.
No, it was
I think it was GPT-3. Yeah, it's an OpenAI like playground.
Yeah, it was
right?
that. I think it was that. It was this Da Vinci thing, which was at least until now, it's like the smartest of the models.
Okay.
Yeah, we can
That
experiment
was
with
the
models.
latest like big chat GPT release.
Before the chat, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, it was not the chat. True.
Because the chat is like on the next iteration of GPT-3. I mean,
right.
the like it's in a bit better access right now, but I think it's like next version.
Okay.
So I guess somewhere in the middle we would need to have some sort of like a preview just for users not to see that the generated texts are fancy for breaking any rules. And then as a potential step, like after MVP, it could be that we just add the API integration with the Google Ads and Facebook Ads, and that's the ads just that the campaigns are being created programmatically without any like downloads. But the very first stage could be just get all the data, process it, and spit out a CSV file for the users to use.
So it's the part there in between, getting product data and getting ads that you guys should solve. Go ahead, please. No, but how? So most things are built on like models like that, right? What's the commercial model with OpenAI now? And is that
we should sell tokens like commercial wise. So I think like GPT-3 charge you per token. It means like kind of per request. And we also need to use some kind of tokens, maybe a bit more costly than OpenAI or GPT-3 to get our like revenue from it.
I think we just need to transform it somehow, because in the tools that exist for copywriting, they also talk about these like tokens as pricing, which as a marketer, I have no idea what that is. And we should somehow try to sell ads or sell campaign setups, but of course we would be buying tokens, and that's like, I think that's the problem of these of using existing models like OpenAI models, because they would basically control our margins in a way, because if they decide to raise the prices for tokens, that would just directly affect us. But I think we would need to somehow convert that into what do these tokens mean for would this mean that like 10 tokens means like 10 ad copies for products, or would it mean like, I don't know, can we do it in bulk in any way, or like just how would the economics of that work, right? So
actually I think it depends on the prompt size, like the text you actually send to AI. And usually AI work in the way when you have some prompt template, like for example, I'm just experimenting with my AI right now about like advertisement banners. I can drop how it looks into the chat, but you have some message like AI generates like provides a product description possible to use an advertisement for the product with actual description, and after it your like description content from like customer side, and depends on the size of this description, you'll be charged in tokens, like maybe 5 symbols is 1 token or something like this. Because bigger description you have, bigger actual work AI need to do, and bigger GPU resources it will spend. So, and I think that's the reason why every AI product use tokens in their economic.
If we are talking about the OpenAI model, and if we base this new product on the OpenAI, they have different models, right? So DaVinci, which I think experimented with, is the most expensive, and it is most advanced, right? But I think for our cases, most probably we don't need the so advanced model, right? So we can try and benchmark the cheaper or even the cheapest one. Probably it would be more than enough in our case, right? We don't have to have a lot of like a context understanding and context processing of our like description to generate the ad, right? So basically it's like rearranging words, using the correct marketing sentences and so on. So yeah, that we can experiment and benchmark and compare, like do the blind tests within our team, for example, and vote which would be the best. The second thought about the tokens, yes, I agree, Kostia, that we have to like align, right, the price and provide to the customers per ad or per campaign, the price per campaign, and yeah, just check with a small amount of text and the big amount of text, I mean the description of the product, which how many tokens we have to spend on each ad, and yeah, just calculate an average, right?
So because we need to base it on some model like this, right? There's no case where we can build something or there's no like realistic case where we build something completely standalone that's not reliant on any existing model, right?
So I think probably not. Like we can try, but it will take like massive amount of time to figure out how to educate a model, fix a lot of mistakes, and also you need a lot of resources, like I don't know, 10 GPU cards, and you need to waste money for electricity. So it's kind of cheaper to experiment with GPT at first, and maybe when you get some like commercially good products, then you can hire some like machine learning experts.
Yeah. So who goes first, physical or digital raised hand?
Yeah, I couldn't find the button to raise it digitally.
It's in reactions. You go, Kostia. I was mostly.
Yeah, so I think we can start with the model, like with existing models, just because of like the way the whole thing progresses. Maybe this app would live for 6 months and then become irrelevant. So that's one. And then the second, I was thinking on the pricing that it could actually depend. We could charge, let's say, for like a set of ads per product, maybe, but also split it by category, let's say, because for different product categories, there would be a different amount of like how much do you actually have to explain about the product, how many details are there of the product. That could differ for like electronics versus furniture versus food, maybe.
Yeah.
And then like if this is a small D2C brand, there would be like a lot of text for the product, because you have to convince like why this expensive new stuff is relevant. And then for something you would be able to just ignore like maybe the majority of description, or it would be very short because it would be just bullet points as in like some technical characteristics of some device or whatever is sold.
So what was the cost driver actually? Was it the input data or the output or both? So we're gonna put product description text in, and then we get advertisement text out. Is it like how much data we put in or how much data we want to get out? That's,
I guess, the first one.
okay. Yeah, so then that's like you said, Kostia, that maybe we can.
Yeah. Because the output would be exactly the same. And this is something that we would need to control somehow, because if, let's say, we have a header which is 30 symbols long, then we should actually make sure that all the headers are like between 25 and 30 symbols. So not shorter, because for ads, you want to fill in all the space that you're basically allowed to take. So it should take up all the limits as much as possible. And then if there is 10 options available for the ad copy, we should fill in all the 10 options, just because like the human could think of 3 texts, but we are going to be offering basically all the options of like all the ideas to put into the mix.
And is it OpenAI that's the way to go, or are there others that we should look at?
I think OpenAI is like the most advanced right now. And again, it provides you like a different types of models, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have to use the latest one. I think we don't need the most expensive. We can, but again, we need to have a benchmark.
Is it getting cold? Raining?
No, not raining, but a little bit cold.
So I have no idea, like with the cost. I haven't looked at that at all. Is it possible to, like, how much does things cost? Is it even possible to build something that's, I guess it is because others are doing similar, but do we have any idea about the cost, or is that what we need to look into next?
We need to test it. So basically what we can do, like we could have like I don't know, 50 or 100 product descriptions, right? And we can work on the prompt that we would give to the network and see like how much it would cost for us for each of the model they have. So basically it would be like 100 products multiplied by amount of models requests.
Mm-hmm.
I have already set up everything. I mean, in terms of billing for OpenAI, I can perform all these tests on my machine if you provide me the input data and the prompt, so we can check.
Okay. And then in terms of like the whole, let's say we see that it works and we select some model, like if it's like the latest model of or any of the previous ones, what do you think would be the best, or like how would the structure of that work, or like the whole development process, like how long would it take to have something launched?
We can have results of this test, I don't know, by the end of this week.
Mm-hmm.
And just work with that and decide on next steps.
Then I would like to become a bit more process, actually. And I think we should make it more, don't look at me like that. No, but that we should also like practice our product management skills maybe, and make it a bit more. I mean, you started with the user stories now, Kostia, and maybe make it into epics and so on and work it out a bit. But it's just a proposal. This is also my first urge to just test it. But I think if we try to like make it a bit more structured, we know what will have to happen then, when, and so on.
We're kind of not deciding on anything right now, right? Before we have any testing, so it's
okay. Yeah.
There's also a question. So we generate like description for advertisements for a bunch of product descriptions, like 100. Probably we can't publish it right away to Google Ads or something like this. We need some like people read out the text and maybe correct it or request another generated description.
Yeah, you said like something about that, Kostia. We need some sort of preview.
Yeah. So the end output
and a way to edit it. Yeah.
Yeah. The ideal output at the end, at the very first stage, so that it would be directly usable, it would be just a CSV file, which should be just formatted in the way that Google Ads editor just accepts it to be loaded. But before that is exported, I think we need to have some sort of preview where the user, the marketer, or the merchant would be able to just read through all of the suggested texts, maybe just blacklist some of them, I guess, as a simple step, or like either ask to regenerate something, so just like a kill an option and then write something new there, or just blacklist, and let's say for some of the products it would be not like 10 titles but like 9-8 titles per product, so something like that. But I wonder how would that work for like at scale, because some stores can have like 20,000 products, right, in their assortment.
But otherwise they would have to write them.
Yeah, it's gonna be faster.
No, for sure. So this is exactly like the problem that we're going to be solving. But I'm talking about like how do we actually display a preview for that to be able to work with?
Okay.
Or maybe we actually maybe if it's too many products, we say that we cannot show the preview, but the user can just download the CSV file and edit in the file. That is also an option theoretically.
You should be able to have some UI where you can like go to the next one and do it in batches or something.
Yeah, what I'm thinking, what we probably can do is we can at first check if this GPT works for us. So we can just get product descriptions from random websites like eBay or like anything, try to generate it. If it works, we can build a UI that you can upload CSV to this UI, because I'm pretty sure a lot of e-commerce companies can export products into CSV, at least from database, and you can upload CSV, bulk generate generated product descriptions. In this UI, you can like request new generated description or edit like existing one, and then you can download CSV back to use in some like promotion campaigns. And I think we can like put some banner on the site, like we have an API. If you need it, like welcome, text us and check if like there is enough people who's interested in this API.
But that's why we think we're starting with Shopify also, because we have a way to market it in the marketplace, and we get all the product descriptions straight away, so we don't have to go the CSV route.
Yes,
but we should be able to like handle it generically, but that's a good first route.
So that part is actually like the first step before the generation. I would say this is actually maybe even quite simple in the way that's like even I could create a Shopify app that would take all of the products and, for example, send them to some backends with some requests for processing and for doing some stuff, maybe probably asynchronously, because that would take some time to generate all of them. So we can have this interface just directly within the Shopify admin panel. And the only thing we would be using is the Shopify API for reading product information.
And writing, probably.
If we want to.
But can we create another description, like generated description, and write into this product?
But what we write should be the ad, and that should go into Google Ads. And we could write into there also, but in the first step, we would do the CSV export that you then upload to Google Ads. So we don't want to change the product descriptions in the e-commerce.
I think that we actually also discussed this idea at some point, that if there's only like some technical details about the product, like dimensions, some characteristics, then we could read those and prepare some description written like as like a paragraph about this product that could be populated inside the description in the store. But this is something that is, at the very least, this is more complex in terms of how do you like actually sell it compared to the ad copy, because ad copy, this is something that would make money for the store. And this is something that they could use right away. So we probably wouldn't even need to write into the products at this stage. So just read the information, process it, and then allow to preview that and export that in some way. Or maybe we could even like send them an email with the CSV.
Let's say we're like still in the discovery phase, and we go into the technical discovery, and then when we know, we can go into more of a real product management setup.
Yeah, that makes sense, I think.
So then we need like a number of real life product descriptions,
which we could actually take from some Shopify store to have it more consistent from the go, like in the format that we would get from there.
And how then we need basically like copy paste it, or
I think we can check. I believe there should be already existing like a databases of product descriptions.
I think Anton shared something like that, or
yeah, Anton shared.
There's like
I think it was Jira tasks descriptions, but I think but I think it should be the same about the products.
Is this open?
It's like the data sets for
everything.
Kind of championship in machine learning, but many people share quite interesting data sets like GDPs, Russian bots, Twitter messages during like election campaign in the USA, and etc.
Maybe we can just start with that, get like a list of Shopify products, test, and then plan out how do we implement it.
Yeah, see the results there, if it's like commercially viable even.
Yeah,
try to find them.
Right, because like one thing that would make sense is that if we test and see the economics of the generation of the data, we could estimate like how much would it cost like per campaign creation.
Yeah,
and then I could compare, let's say, how much would I charge for that, which is like a simple comparison for the store. Like, do you need a marketer for that, or would that be like 10 times cheaper to generate and just proofread and have it published?
Yeah, cool. Then I'm gonna go get a Christmas haircut.
My God, sounds sweet. I need to do it as well.
It's a haircut, just happens to be Christmas, but sounds better with a Christmas haircut.
Then see you later.
Yeah, see you guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.